Hi everyone. Now in today's video I'm going to do a brief explanation of some of the reasons for any of those common signs and symptoms that we can experience when stressed long term. Now you will find that list of common signs and symptoms in the description section below. I will briefly comment on each section to show you why you might be experiencing any one of them and that there is often a logical reason for them. You are not imagining it. Often, it turns out, there is no medical diagnosis for what is presenting, but fortunately the science can give us a really good idea because it's not a disease as such, but the results of good old-fashioned stress. And so often, our body experiences the stress different from another person, and therefore it can show up as a different symptom in a different part of our body, just to add to the confusion. It is everything to do with our pea-sized reptilian brain triggering our stress response into action. And because of our lifestyle, long-term, the stress never gets to diminish. Our list shows some of the 95% of all human illnesses that result from long-term elevated stress inside our body. And remember, they are the reasons for the 85% of all visits to our GP. Dare I say it, but clearly as a nation, if we reduce our stress levels, our doctors would have more spare time, right? So the first of the common signs and symptoms is physical symptoms. Now, remember that our muscles contract and relax as a result of the signals from our nervous system, in particular the signals from the sympathetic nervous system to our muscles to engage and go into a defense mode, ready for the fight or flight. Now, when our stress levels never end and those muscles never get the parasympathetic nervous system signal to relax, then over time, any one or group of those muscles can ache and even become cramped, locked, and completely fatigued. That can create ongoing pain and huge unnecessary stress, which just adds to the issue. Now, the second is mental and emotional symptoms. As we have discussed earlier, every time our stress response is activated to any degree, our brain also automatically and instantly moves into a level of being on guard duty, whether it's necessary or not. That's the immediate fight or flight response. If our lifestyle includes a lot of stressful experiences, then the stress levels and hormones gradually accumulate, like savings in the bank, and our mental balance moves towards being able to focus more in this perceived dangerous environment in order to keep us safe from harm and ready to respond to the potential threat. That means emotionally we're naturally more on guard duty, and that means less happy, more weary, judgmental, critical, suspicious, lacking patience, and a lot more. The fact is, we can't be happy when for some reason our reptilian brain is reacting to a potential threat to our life. And then over time, we run out of the essential chemicals or nutrition required to fuel our body through this high energy stress process. And like an old lawnmower running at high revs, it runs out of gas quicker than if it was just idling along. And then, over more time, we begin to emotionally wear out at every level. However, as soon as the perceived danger is gone, also known as the cause of the stress, and over a period of time to allow our nervous system and stress hormone levels to naturally drain away and calm down, and we build back reserves by chilling out, eating well, our mental balance moves back to being able to focus in this less dangerous environment. And we calm down and find we can naturally be happy, funny, creative, and a multitude of other pleasant emotions and sensations, just as we used to be. Our ancient body recognizes there is no need to be on guard duty anymore. That's right, the process reverses exactly as it's designed to, because that's exactly how it works. It means you don't have to be stressed out all of the time, all of your life. You can do something about it. Now, the third one is energy levels. This doesn't include symptoms of fibromyalgia or chronic fatigue, which are still directly related to long-term stress on any individual, but at the extreme and even debilitating end. But right now, we are talking about those initial signs that we first discover along with being stressed. All stress creates insulin resistance and elevated internal glucose levels. That's worth remembering. Over time, the continual glucose supply interferes with the energy conversion at the mitochondrial level. And we've talked about the mitochondria, and we'll talk further about that in the future. Basically, it clogs up the energy-making mitochondria machinery, which makes the energy we function by. And over time, we are making less energy and therefore feeling fatigued. The result of stress means we are in a fight or flight mode more than not, and therefore on continual guard duty. Now, being on guard duty long term requires a lot of energy and is very, very fatiguing. Any spare energy is directed into the actual stress responses itself. That's a natural survival priority, with little left for normal everyday activities or to a level that we used to be able to engage in. And we still don't know what we don't know, so we generally presume that everything is the same, which includes those stressful influences, the type and amount of food we consume, and hours of sleep we manage, etc. And we don't change our ways to better accommodate our new stress-influenced situation or period in our life. But unbeknown to us, everything else has changed and needs to be considered as such, or we can run out of everything and make matters a lot worse. Now, my favourite saying is, but how can we ever know what we never knew? Yeah, I think it's brilliant. As soon as we do know, then everything can change for the better. The fourth one is sleep. It is one of the first things we notice when experiencing long-term stress, and we usually ignore it or put it down to something like getting old or even burning the candle at both ends. It's a very common complaint, even in our 20s. And it appears that no commercial pill or potion can resolve this. However, as soon as you understand what is happening, you will know what you must and must not do for your body when it comes to sleep. And things can actually change in a remarkably quick manner. Then, if you feel you must, you can take as many pills and potions as you like because you have now got the basics covered. We will cover this in more depth in a coming video. And the fifth one is digestion. The stress response directly impacts on our gut bacteria colony, which impacts directly on our mental health, our immune system, our appetite, digestion, bloating, and overall energy levels. See how they're all linked? And it turns out that if you are not looking after your gut colony, then any or many of these common signs and symptoms can appear. We will cover this in more depth in a coming video. And then there's heart and lungs. Yes, stress in most cases is the underlying cause of the common signs and symptoms. Chest pain, asthma, hyperventilation, shortness of breath, irregular heartbeat, high blood pressure, and more, much, much more. And it turns out that most of these issues have common stress-related causes. And then there is our immune system. As we explained in an earlier video, the hormones and chemicals produced by the stress response directly influence and even impact on our immune system, and long-term, its ability to protect us from everything which is not meant to be in or on our body. Now, add to that the specific bacteria species which live in our gut, which actually regulate and control our immune response. But due to long-term high stress levels, they have been killed off. They simply don't thrive in a high acid stress hormone environment. And this leaves an immune system with no driver at the controls of the bus. And it can run out of control, known as autoimmune disease. But closer to home, we can then be experiencing any of the common fungal bacteria and viral skin and lung infections, often not life-threatening, but a real nuisance for sure. So, what did you think was regulating or controlling our immune system? Frankly, I simply never knew. And an unhealthy immune system which is also not being supplied by the correct amount of the correct hormones and has been affected by long-term elevated stress levels can't hunt down and destroy cancerous mutations of normal body cell division, which happens every night as it is designed to. And we'll cover this in a later video. So I hope you can get the idea that most of these common signs and symptoms we humans can experience are the end result of stress on our body over a long period of time and to a high degree. This is all about biochemistry. It's not about you personally. Change the biochemistry and you change the outcome. It's as simple as that. That's what the science says. So don't be shy to ask your medical expert if your illness or condition is your body's reaction to overwhelming stress. Because going forward, that is something that only you can play a huge part in remedying. That's right, it comes down to us. Okay, good job everyone. It was a little bit longer than 5 minutes, but we did well. See you later. Bye-bye.